Since 2015, Growing Exposed has been the resource into the cannabis cultivation industry, chronicling the monumental shift from clandestine operations to legal enterprises. During that time, we've documented the many changes in our industry, which most certainly continue to evolve. However, I feel today's garden stands out as something that's extra special, marking a departure from the ordinary as we transport you into what's best described as the future and the world of bespoke cannabis cultivation. If Pit My Ride collided with Growing Exposed, this is what you'd get. With neon lights flickering on the walls, logos gleaming through epoxy floors, and innovation at every corner. Join me for an exclusive tour of Miami Mango's garden. The charismatic force behind the brand, Alex is no stranger to social media, entertaining audiences with his humorous and sometimes controversial content that has found him in IG jail, getting him banned dozens of times.
I get a lot of fans on my pages, sometimes good and a lot of times bad. I'm glad that you guys are some of the few that find it hilarious, but believe it or not, there's a lot of corporate companies that don't like my style.
Now, at the heart of Miami Mango's operation lies the Trollmaster system.
We're a beta testing facility for Trollmaster.
As the official test facility for ThinkGrow LED and Trollmaster, we delve into the cutting-edge technologies. From in-canopy lighting to light lifters, unveiling the future of indoor cultivation. Beyond the glitz, we will discover that this facility is a hub for experimentation, where Miami Mango pushes the boundaries of what's possible. What would typically take years, he accomplishes in mere months, attracting manufacturers eager to showcase their products in this pioneering environment.
And we give all these companies credit all the time because we like to show them love because they showed us love.
Today, we have the heavyweights, like Dosatron, talking to us about the heart of the system and why the system is a choice for this garden.
And that's the best part about Dosatron. They work while you're not thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So you can be off in space doing anything, and Dosatron's here working for you.
CANNADRI was along for the ride as Braun presented his new custom-painted and deckled-up dehumidifier to match this vibrant space.
I figured it was appropriate to get you a Miami Mango orange dehumidifier, and then want to show you some of the innovative things we're doing at CANNADRI.
We also have our dear friend Dave from Method 7 joining us for an information session, shedding light on how the latest advancements in full-spectrum LED technology might be great for plants, but not so much for your eyes.
You know, we're actually targeting the spikes in the lighting spectrum of these grow lights, right? A lot of sunglass companies, they can actually add to those spikes.
If you grow indoors under LED lights, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next segment. Now sit back and relax as we introduce you to Miami Mango's cultivation paradise. Oh, hey there. I'm perusing through the back end of our YouTube channel, Growing Exposed, and I was shocked to find out that 75% of our loyal, dedicated viewers have still yet to subscribe. Here's the deal. YouTube's algorithm is a bit picky, especially when it comes to cannabis-related content, even if it's made responsibly and factually. But when you, the viewer, hit the subscribe button, you're telling the algorithm loud and clear, we want more of this. It makes all the difference in our ability to keep creating it. Together, we can make sure our voices are heard. Thanks for watching. What you are about to see as a teenager in the grow industry would have been my absolute wet dream. The floors are perfectly clean, everything is backlit. You've got Trollmaster, ThinkGrow, Schedule 80 everywhere. You know, multi-tier racking and mobile racking to boot. No light penetration into your PVC. Listen, it's not the biggest, but I would say one of the cleanest, most dialed in, most perfected grow I've ever been. Basically, this is a testing ground for the best of the best.
That's exactly why this place was built. It is a working, operating showroom Even though we're videoing right now, it's in the middle of a day. They're harvesting a room, they're bucking a room, they're drying. This is pretty much like a hospital. It never shuts down 24 hours a day. There's always something going on. And we do try to keep it as clean as possible. But yes, the first purpose of this space is to cultivate. The second purpose is a showroom to be able to showcase all the affiliate brands that we all work together.
You've been at this how long?
Started growing weed roughly at 23, 24 years old. I started building grows. My friends were rich. I want to be able to afford everything that they did. You know, when you're young, you're wet around the ears and you sell weed. And then later on, you get a little bit older and they start growing weed. And then my friends would say, hey, you know how to build, right? Build this for me. So then I would start building this stuff for them. And then I got better at it. And then the more that I was in these grows, it was that humming from the fans, you know, checking out these plants. Hey, let me check out that plant. Why is this plant growing tall? This one's growing wide. The more time that you spend in a grow room, then you end up falling in love with the plant. I don't know anybody that's been growing their whole life and is not excited about the next harvest.
See, it always doesn't have to be the why. You don't have to have like this massive connection. You know, my mom and dad had cancer or whatever it is. Your why is, I wanted a better life for myself. And you obviously had a really good work ethic. I don't know how many plants you have in this space, but you have thousands of children that you care for.
I like to be involved because just like you say, if this place succeeds, it's because of the team. You
Absolutely.
know, I picked the right team to help me succeed. If this place fails, it's because of me.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, if this place fails, everybody's gonna put the finger on that person, which is me. You can have every crucial decision land on somebody that's not responsible for everything. So I like to be able to make the crucial decisions and hopefully I make the right ones, you know, so we always hope.
Yeah, well, we are about to go see what your good decisions have done.
We will see, and let's hope, fingers crossed.
So from here, bedroom 1.
We're gonna go into the bedroom, which houses the moms,
Okay.
the teens, and the clones.
Beautiful.
Ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's go. Welcome to Florida.
So how many square feet do we have in this total building?
This total building is only 16,000 square feet by the scheme of things.
Yeah.
And every square inch is built for speed. It's to grow cannabis. We don't have no storage space in here or anything fancy in here, no cafe or anything like that. All the storage is outside in containers.
Cannabis cultivation only.
Obviously, that includes distro and trimming, but it's only in that 16,000 square feet.
So it's important to note, because we're all doing multi-tiered racking, this would be equivalent to about 80,000 square feet in an average facility, maximizing every square foot vertically also.
Close to. For example, this room that we're standing on, this is a 15-foot wide by 15-foot long by 15-foot tall clone room that we use grow glide racks to make clones in here. And at the current time, we can make about 32,000 clones a month in here. We just recently got a nursery license. We're gonna drop the racks a little bit more and we're gonna be able to get up to 40 to 42,000 clones in a month's time. So every 2 weeks, we'll get new inventory and get it out.
Wow,
That's a lot.
that's a lot of manpower. How many people do you have working here?
We have about 35 people that work here, you know, at any given time. That includes from management, clerical to trimmer, even a person that all they do is clean the facility all day long. Because we got guys like you coming and to do these kind of videos, so we got to make it looks Gucci. What's so special about Thinker LEDs? A quick thing that I'm going to show you is this. If you look back over here, boom. It's a removable bar. There is no light company that is 100% like God and gets every light bar, every connection right. There's things that happen every once in a while. I think 3% RMA is a standard in the industry.
It's low.
It's low, but it's standard in the industry. So sometimes red diodes will go out or a section of lights go out. Maybe even the bar goes out. So what you do is you send me a picture of the bar that's out, and we just ask you to change it with another bar because they're interchangeable. And we put this into a cardboard tube. We ship it to you, and I guarantee it'll take you longer to unpack that bar, and then it will to snap it in place like this. Simple pimple. Set it and forget it.
So this is an important part for me because people always talk about hot bleed and how to control viruses. And this wall of scissors didn't just happen.
I have a lot of ingenuity and I come up with a lot of stuff, but not everything that I come up with is my idea. As many grows as you go into, we always learn something. We either learn what to do or what not to
little
do.
things.
It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna do that. This is something that I learned. I walked into a facility that did clones, and I walked into, I call it the scissor wall pocket, and I was like, fuck, okay, so why did they do that? And they explained to me why, and it hit a bell up there, and this is very important. When somebody takes cuts, they either come here, they take them, they put them in a tray. Once they're in here, they're disinfected. They're sterile as gonna be. The girl who runs this space, she's the veg manager. She's the only one that grabs a scissor. She goes to the mom, she takes cuts. When she takes a pile of cuts, she puts it into the solution. She drops a pair of scissors in here and then puts it on the table where the guys that are making the clones, when they get to this one, they get this pair of scissors and they finish out the clones. Then they put it in the sink so later on it can get washed until we run out of scissors. There's close to about 150 scissors. So that would do about 150 moms. And that's the way that we got rid of HPLV in here, is by one scissor per mom, no matter if it's the same strain. We also do testing. We have 2 different labs. We'll take root samples and stuff like that. We'll send them for testing. And then that's how we managed to remove HPLV from this facility.
Yeah, so it is doable.
It is definitely doable.
It's just a lot of work.
Definitely. You got to train the staff too, because the plant has a certain characteristics where instead of the limbs growing outwards like this, like on a 45-degree angle, they're more closer to like a 90-degree, kind of going out that way.
They do this.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Basically weird hockey
And
sticks.
super
mutated
fragile.
growth.
You can hit the stem and it just snaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely not a good thing.
A lot of telltale signs, but this is a really important 1 ounce of measure, pound of cure.
I like that. Yes, sir. 100%. Yes, sir. This happens to be a 130 light room. It's 130 Model H's. This was the flagship for Think Grow and Trollmaster for a while. Like I said, we got newer models, but this room cranks.
What I like is every light, every row, it is so dialed. Like as you look down some of these rows, it's just perfectly straight.
Think Grow LED makes it easy for you to install the lights on a unistrut, and then you can slide them. You can move them either way. So when we installed all these lights, I had a guy stay at one end, and you just go left, right, all the way through until top and bottom tiered. They're as straight as could possibly be done, because we all like to take pictures and floss the gram. How do you like Florida? Because it's feeling hot and humid.
It's hot as shit in here.
Yeah, we do run it hot the first couple months.
Dude.
Yeah, the Method 7s are fogging up.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Method 7, it's pretty cool that I have the opportunity to introduce Dave from Method 7, who honestly makes one of the best products I like in the industry. I wear them all the time, and for the two of you guys to meet, this is pretty cool. Alex.
Thank you.
Dave, Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Thank you for having.
Great product. These are stylish too, but I have to pick these ones out. Like a honeycomb or somewhat of a
that's the
THC
honeycomb.
molecule.
Yep.
Those are the Tikal.
Tikal, baby.
Yep.
These are
Method
sweet.
Man collabs.
Yeah, that's collaborated with Method Man, and Dave, maybe you can tell Alex a little about Method 7.
Yeah, for sure. So, basically we invented the first HPS lens over a decade ago. Our founder, Jeff, figured out, if you do work with molten glass and rare earth minerals, mix it with the glass, you get this blue lens, right? Take photos, it balances that HPS color. So we've been doing that for almost a decade, and then obviously, we have this technology turned to LED. They're beautiful lights, they're incredibly bright. I think the big problem with LEDs to the naked eye is when you look at them right, you see these splotches and blots, right? And that's disorienting, right? And what that is the light penetrates our retina, it's hitting the rods and cones in the back of our eyes. It makes those cells go into overdrive, which gives us the blotches and spots. Same thing you're gonna see if you look at the sun, right? So what we do is we take these lenses, we specifically target the spikes in these lighting spectrums, 660, 480 are gonna be your spikes. We bring those down, we let the other color come through evenly, so it's a beautiful, comfortable experience underneath these lights, Your cells aren't freaking out, you can see comfortable, and you're protected against, cataracts, losing your night vision, long-term, short-term damage. And most importantly, you could work comfortably for long hours and see anything with the plants, down to the minutia.
We take safety very highly here. And thank you, David, for bringing us Method 7. We distribute them to some of the workers. Pretty soon now, pair of glasses like this are going to be, normal wear. Just like you got to wear scrubs and you got to wear a cap and stuff like that. It's going to become synonymous with PPE. And within the next 6 months, we're going to make every employee wear sunglasses. If you're in a grow room, you got to wear sunglasses no matter what.
Well, and I think where regular sunglasses kind of fall a little short in a grow room is that, we're actually targeting the spikes in the lighting spectrum of these grow lights, right? A lot of sunglass companies, they can actually add to those spikes. So you'll get an iced tea colored lens that's adding 660 nanometers on top of it. So now you're getting more red. You can't truly see what's happening, in which it can actually allow your pupil to dilate more to let certain kind of lights in. It actually can do, sometimes, I don't want to say more harm than good, but not the right effect of what we're going for. And that's the key with this lens, is that we don't want workers going like this to have to see. We want them to keep them on all the time and let your pupils adjust properly and keep the bad light out and let the good light in.
Yeah, these things are definitely comfortable. They're definitely dope.
Thank you.
Like you don't even feel them.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Dave.
Cool.
Yeah, cheers.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, same.
When I started this over 10 years ago, I was growing it and harvesting it. But nobody was really talking about what was going on inside this plant. Outside, you'll see plant material, which is primarily carbon and water. And it's only after a closer look you discover this beautiful world of trichomes. And it's here that you find the substance which gives cannabis the effect that it has. Now that I know it's all about trichome production, I use resin. Try it, you're gonna be blown away.
I love the light lifters, by the way.
So a lot of people have winches, and the winches are cool and cheap, but there's a lot of labor involved with it, and they don't have a high and low limit switch. So if you and I were still here, let's say, I'm gonna roll that up, and I'm here talking to you, as that's still pushed, and I forget that I got my finger on there, before you know it, boom, everything snaps. But see, it's got a high limit switch, so it stopped by itself, and my finger's still on it. Same thing when it goes down, and unless somebody forgot to set the bottom limit switch, CO2 injection, we know it's working, then you see that it's stopped. And it's stopped usually, it's a little high right now because, it's obviously harvest time, and we don't want the lights that close with a high PPFD, so that's why it doesn't have that much motion. But usually when the plants are here, it's got a lot more range of motion.
And one of the things I love the most, you have your quantum sensor over there.
Yes.
It's one of the best features of, in my opinion, of ProMaster, is the fact that you can measure light levels and give them the exact amount of light at the plant's canopy.
Well, and that's set right at 30 inches below the bottom of the light, because that's where it's supposed to be, and that's where the reading gets taken. 30 inches, so it's perfect. So if you can see behind me, we have 3 irrigation hoses going to one table, and that's on the last 4 tables. The reason why is because we do pheno hunting here, and once we get some phenos that we like, we'll put them in each table, and then what we'll do is we'll group the Model Is in 3 different groups. High strength, let's say high PPFD, 1500. Middle lane will be, let's say, middle PPFD, 1200, 1100, and then the last bay will be in the 900s, and we'll see what the plant likes more.
Well, that's really way you find out exactly what that plant wants, and you're able to actually dial in an SOP for that specific plant.
Correct, and that's the first round of testing that we do for a pheno. Once it gets here, we take that down in the data, see what it likes, and then we'll put it into F2, and then from that point on, we go to the second batch of testing.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing that, by the way.
Not in one run. I mean, we would definitely simplify something that would take, multiple runs, like a year, into a one-run basis. Wow, this looks dope. That's the best part about the whole thing.
The logo.
Well, maybe until we open it up, but right now, this is the best part. Let's check it out.
Let's check it out. Come on.
Yeah.
And this is Ron from
What's up,
CANNADRI.
Going on, Alex?
How you
How you doing?
Oh,
It's a pleasure,
nice,
man.
very nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Let's turn this around a little bit so we can.
So,
Look at the bling.
woo! Ron, why don't you just give us a lowdown on what exactly we're looking at?
Yeah, for sure. So, Alex, when Justin and the boys said they're coming down here, I figured it was appropriate to get you a Miami Mango Orange dehumidifier, and then want to show you some of the innovative things we're doing at CANNADRI. One of the big pieces we're doing is we're making sure we're coating our coils in epoxy, and this will help reduce any microbials, any contaminants going into the runoff water, which is going to keep your coil cleaner, make it last longer, and extend the life of your product.
Cool. This is key now that since we filter all our water. That's a pretty cool thing.
Another big piece too, you'll notice that they have a stainless steel drain tray. So again, that's going to keep that water as clean and pristine as possible for when you are reclaiming all your water on site.
Nice. That's
And
key.
nobody else is
Yeah.
doing that in the industry. So
Awesome.
we put electronics expansion valves. So this allows you to run your temperatures and be more efficient at lower temps, which, as every grower knows, this is a very, very key component. And another thing, they're very friendly with TrollMaster, so dry contact, just plug and play. And these things, I can assure you, are going to be, one of the market leaders coming up.
What size is? How many pints per day?
This is a 250 pint.
So there's a CANNADRI 250.
We have a CANNADRI, the Can 250, we have a 350, a 500, and a 700. And the 700 is going to have an inverter in it, which will allow you to dial it down to 140 pints and ramp it back up to 700 pints.
And obviously those pints that we're talking about is rated at 80 degrees, right?
100% at 80,
80,
60,
okay, I got
of
you.
course,
Okay.
yeah. So can't wait to see one of these in your facility.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's check it out.
This is built for growers by growers.
By growers,
That's
yeah.
your-
25-year grower, built in the grow room, not in the boardroom.
Awesome. This is
like it.
cool. So we're in the inside tank room. We have 2 molar units. In reality, you only need 1 unit here, but we like to showcase both of them. The bottom one is the bigger unit. The top one is the bloom, and they inject nanobubbles, micronized, minute oxygen, minuscule bubbles that are in the water, and it makes it look like watered down almond milk. If you shine a laser into it, it kind of shines. It makes it glow, so it's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive units, but I think it's worth the amount of money when you're thinking that hundreds of thousands of dollars in a crop could go bad by pythium or anything else. It's just pretty much insurance.
Absolutely.
Insurance is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
It's the other part of the equation. You obviously have supplemental CO2 in the air. Now you have supplemental oxygen in the water.
In the water, exactly.
And you have to have that balance, right? Every link in the chain in any of these garden facilities needs to be as strong as possible.
Hit them in the roots, hit them on the top. Kind of like this, boom, boom. Knock them out, baby.
So, beautiful.
All right. Right here we have a HydroX Pro. There's 1 controller per room for environmental parameters. And this is how we make sure that everything's running up to speed. Sorry for the rast nets here. We're a beta testing facility for TrollMaster. They are my partners in this facility. And hold on, sorry, come on out. Where's gotta go, sorry.
Weed coming through.
We got some
Get your weed here. Weed coming through.
wall of weed.
This is a working garden. And case in point.
Wall of weed.
Just another wall of weed going by.
Choo choo. So anyway, back to this rast nets over here. So anytime there's a new gadget or a new upgrade, a new firmware update, guess who's got to be the guinea pig? This guy's got to be the guinea pig. So we put our whole rooms in jeopardy just to make sure that your room doesn't become in jeopardy. But this is what we test. So we rig all kinds of stuff over here to the internet. This is 50%, 200%, 100%. So if you can see, it's test 1, test 3, test 2. We do all kinds of tests in here. This is the place. From here, once it's mango approved, it goes to the masses.
So not only do you have the HydroX, you also have the AquaX.
Correct. This is the AquaX Pro. Remember, there's a HydroX Pro, a HydroX Plus, and then what I call a HydroX Junior, which is the original one. This happens to be the AquaX Pro, and there's also an AquaX Plus that we just let into the market, and that one's actually got some pretty nice features too. Well, you need only 1 AquaX Pro per facility. It'll work 300 valves and 300 sensors. This 1 AquaX will operate this whole facility, but I decided to split it into 2. The veg people stay in their side, and the flowering people stay in this side.
Makes sense?
The AquaX Pro does a lot more than that. It also does batch tanks. It also has sensors for pH, for EC, multiple of them throughout. And if you can see at every dosatron station, it has dual redundancy sensors. So I have 2 for EC, two for pH and temperature everywhere. We're also in the near future going to add a DO sensor and an ORP sensor.
That's beautiful.
That's going to be all in line. For those of you that don't know, an ORP sensor is going to measure your levels of hypochlorous acid in your line. So you can either, increase the hypochlorous acid or decrease the hypochlorous acid, depending on the manufacturer's recommendations, or on your needs. If your lines are clogged a little bit, you want to give it that, then that's what you do. The sky's the limit with Aquex Pro.
Yeah. It's also important to note that something like this, if you were to go with other irrigation systems, they're ultra expensive. Like, irrigation is a very expensive,
Super expensive.
group within this industry, and this thing is a fraction. When I say fraction, it's like
Less than a fraction.
2% of what some of those irrigation systems cost.
I would definitely agree with you.
Growing Exposed is more than just a video series. It's an integral part of our community. Did you know that being connected to us, you can save money on nutrients, lighting, dehumidification, and practically any other products that you would need to grow? Thanks to our large community, manufacturers give us exclusive direct grower discounts, which add up to big savings. We even have a program to save you substantial money on packaging, pop tops, glass jars, Mylar bags, labels, and stickers. Plus, we can save you money on promotional items and so much more. All the information on how you can take advantage of the discounts are in the description. And the best part is, it's free. So sign up now. So Alex, this facility is 10 out of 10, top notch. You could have chosen any irrigation system. Why did you choose Dosatron?
What I liked about Dosatron system is it's modular, like TrolMaster equipment. You buy what you need, and not anything more, not anything less. There's obviously some human interaction with it, but anybody can fix it. If something's wrong there, I can go take another one from that panel and swap it out because they're modular. They're all piped the same. And I decided to put a panel in every room, and I can run different nutrients in different rooms and the less valves, testing, stuff like that. It's just, it was a good match for us. I like the product. It's affordable too.
And you always know it's running by the click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
Click, clack. And now, boom.
I mean, was that
Just turned
perfect
on.
timing
that
or
was
not?
perfect.
Literally just turned on at exact time. Hey, thanks for that, guys. You can turn it off now.
And that's the best part about Dosatron. They work while you're not thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So you can be off in space doing anything, and Dosatron's here working for you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Chris, tell us a little about your product.
Yeah, man. So a Dosatron is a very simple product from its inception.
Yeah.
It was developed to take water and mix it with chemistry with no other action needed, so no electricity. The whole idea is that it takes the water in, creates pressure inside of a vessel. That vessel has a motor inside of it. So what you hear clicking and clacking is the opening and closing of a series of valves. It allows water to pass either up and back down or down and back up. And that's why you get that constant proportional to the flow dosing, because that's then connected down to a plunger, draws the product up just like a hypodermic needle, using a grommet inside of a cylinder, draws that product up based on how exactly you set it on the stem, and out it comes completely blended, ready to use. So because Dosatron's so simple, people can use it in so many multitudes of operations throughout the facility. People think of it as the central fertigation system, but imagine that this can be put at a room by room level downstream to clean, so you can find these big giant central facility fertigation systems, but use a Dosatron at the room to still clean out all the pipes, add
makes
nematodes,
sense.
do your IPM, even add a particular XY product that you want to trial at room by room level.
I
So,
never thought about the adding nematodes.
oh, absolutely. Nematodes is one of the best things Dosatron can do for you.
Neat.
It's actually one of the only technologies that doesn't damage the nematode as it's injected into the system and back out into the crop. So,
That makes total sense because
Yeah.
you're not actually pumping it, just literally pulling it up slowly and
Exactly.
blending and mixing in
all
the
the
chamber.
pumping's done beforehand. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So instead of a submersible pump where it actually serrates and turns them into, mincemeat.
Not livable.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead
So you'll get
toads.
much better nematode. Yeah, the deaditodes. That's a good one. But yeah, we do that with the Dosacart.
Mark that down.
He's going to steal that from
Yeah,
you
keep
for
that
sure.
one. That
For
one's-
sure.
yeah,
Better
that's for
toast. I like
people.
that.
Any kind of maintenance that's needed on a unit like this?
Yeah, so something like this, we sell what's called an annual maintenance kit that replaces a check valve seal that keeps the product from only going up and not going back down, and a plunger that's, again, that one doing all the work. Those are done annually. Every 3 to 5 years, there's a bit more seal work to doing this, but yeah, you're talking about $35 to $50 per unit per year, and you're going to be guaranteed 100% operation. And when you're talking about something that's running as the heartbeat of your facility, I can deal with $50 a pump.
That's pretty minimal.
Yeah, remember.
Amazing. Chris, thank you so much for filling us all in with such a valuable
Thanks, brother.
part of every garden. So we're here in one of my favorite rooms. Excitingly enough, this is the reclamation room of all the water from all the dehumidification, all the air conditioners, all the water comes in here and it doesn't get put down the drain. How nice is that?
It's pretty cool. It's expensive, but I think it's proactive. It's not only good for the environment. It's not only the right thing to do, but it is California. And somebody told me when I started to build this that they're going to implement that you have to catch your water, purify it, or you're going to have to cart it away, which is very expensive. I decided to be proactive, and if I'm going to have, concrete cutting, and I'm going to have bobcats here, that was the time to do it. So I kind of slowed down on the project a little bit, designed the underground. And all the water from, or 98% of the water that goes into the building comes back into this space, and it gets reclaimed and it gets purified, whether it's from the condensers and AC units, or whether it's from the benches, it goes into that one. It congregates into that tank over there, and then from there it goes into this last system that purifies it and puts it into this 10,000 gallon tank.
Huge storage tanks.
Yes, sir.
And now you've basically not dumped any of the water down the drain. You've reclaimed everything, and that water is as pure gets.
Correct. We go through about 6,000 to 7,000 gallons of water a day. It's very important to have water storage on site, because let's say that they're doing some road work right outside or a quarter of a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
And they're digging the road work, and they dig up a pipe. And your crop steering is not like your medium is soaked. Your medium has just the right amount of moisture to air ratio. And let me tell you what, if you don't put water in these plants for a half a day or a day, anything that's past week 5, it's dying.
Yeah.
It's dying, or you're definitely gonna crucially decimate your crop. So what I tell people as a good rule of thumb is to at least have 2 days worth of water on site as a backup system, because they'll usually get the water back up and running pretty quickly.
It's great advice. And one thing as a grower you always know is redundancies and plan for the worst.
Exactly. It's like, once again, like insurance. Better have it, not need it, than need it and not have it.
Now this is about an hour away from our headquarters. It's beautiful up here.
Yeah, this is Pacific Northwest. This is what it's all about. This is why we are where we are.
We can live anywhere in the world. We can choose to live anywhere we want. We love living here.
I agree. First kayaks ever in this lake, probably ever.
I would hazard a guess and say first human beings on this lake. I mean, this is a glacial fed lake. We're up here to demonstrate how beautiful and how clean our water is, and the environment that we have and care and protect. Every little bit of GreenPlanet nutrients encompasses this. The purest, cleanest water, the highest quality source nutrients. We care very much about ensuring that your plants get the best nutrition possible.
All the water that we get comes from lakes and glaciers like this.
One major advantage we have over every other nutrient manufacturer globally.
I think GreenPlanet's going to have a major role in the future of the industry. We're innovators, we create new products every day, and we'll be at the forefront of the movement. We're quality focused, we're result based. We have to make sure the end user has a positive experience every single time they use a GreenPlanet product.
So Alex, what are we looking at here?
When I first built this space, and I wanted to use a lot of fans for air circulation, so I believe that air is one of the most underrated environmental aspects of a grow room. A lot of people have microclimates. No matter how much AC or DU you have, you got to move that air around to be able to homogenize the environment within itself. So I want to put a lot of fans in here, and I want to be able to control the fans independently of each other. We have the high velocity fans up top that are the air circulators. We have undercarriage fans under all the racks that also are used as air movers. And then we also, on the multiple tier racks, we have air that goes horizontally and delivers acclimated air on top of the plants. So this is pretty much a BFD panel. These are Delta BFDs, a variable speed frequency. This is the communicator between the HydroX Pro from TrolMaster and the high velocity fans that run at 480. I seen a void in the market with fans. Most fans are only 120 volt operational, and they draw a lot of amperage. And when you have a lot of fans in a room, you can't turn them all on and off at the same time because they trip breakers. I seen this and I said, there's got to be a way to be able to simplify all this and eliminate it. We came out with our own new fan line, which we just debuted at MJBIS, that will all operate directly from the HydroX Pro. So you will not need any of this. All this is eliminated from the aspects of new builds because all your fans will be operable from the HydroX. They're also smart sensing. You can hook them up to 120, 240, 277. What does that do for guys that are building a facility? In a multi-tier rack, most of the power is 277 or 480. So if you have 277 going into the rack, it only makes sense that all your fans will be 277. So you only have to drop one source of power, 277 to that rack. Every time that you have to drop different power cables, it's more money to the operators. So one thing that we always have here in mind is how can I make this better, easier, and more cost efficient to the guy that's building this space? Because that's important, you know?
Yeah, because if you're a grower, you understand, literally, you've done it time and time again, it always costs twice as much, it takes 3 times as long to set up.
Fucking 100%.
Period.
100%.
So to give tools to make people's jobs easier, that's a no-brainer.
We're gonna go into F4 now. F4, as you can see, is a Montel room, and we give all these companies credit all the time because we like to show them love because they showed us love at the time of building.
Great people. Canadian company.
Canadian company. Yep, we got Canada in the house, baby.
Yeah, there's some representation, eh?
Yes, sir. We have 104 Model W lights from ThinkPro. What's so special about this Model W? That you have far red spectrum adjustability. And this is the room that we've done the far red spectrum testing to where we picked that first rack and the last rack. And the first rack had 5 minutes worth of far red light after dark. And the last rack had 30 minutes of far red after dark. And we dropped curtains in between, so there was no light pollution. And I've done videos into this room like at 5:59 in the afternoon when the lights turn off. And I've shown the lights in there, how they don't really protrude into the rest of the space. The 5 minute and the 30 minute were done at 7 weeks. We had to run the room the whole entirety of the harvest at 63 days, but we started taking samples at day 50, day 53, 56, 59, and 63, and we send that to the lab to see what our THC levels were and then and see how much meat we left in the bone. And all the testing results were super promising that we're in the right direction. This time we're gonna finish in 7 weeks, so we're gonna take the temperature down faster. We're gonna drop the EC faster, and we're gonna drop the light strength faster so we can finish in 7 weeks. So what we do is, if you wanna come with me, check this out. Right up there, there's a curtain. So at the end of the day, roughly at 5 o'clock, there's a group of people that come in here and they all drop that curtain down. It goes all the way down. And they leave the next 3 racks uncovered. And then after that, we drop another curtain that's on that side over there to separate the right side, that's 5 minutes, the left side, that's 30 minutes. And then from here to here is the control. And I have posted this on Instagram to see that there's very little to no light pollution, because it's only red light and it's far red, it's not really that strong between the test subjects.
The whole beautiful nature of this system is you've got such even coverage using very efficient fans, non-moving parts, not doing this like a typical wall fan like most of these gardens have. I think there's a miss.
100%. This air system is so damn efficient. The air from the windsock will tend to burn the leaf and your buds. You know, a little bit of ingenuity. Hold on, let me step on here. That happens to be my air reducer. But we can't all do this, so I said, you know what, we gotta be able to turn these down individually from the HydroX Pro. So now you see why it's so important to be able to group your fans from the air circulation fans, the undercarriage fans, especially these fans. So as the
To
plant
avoid
gets
wind
taller, avoid wind burn. If not, you're going to have, just a beat up top. That's where your money's at. So for the time being, until we can retrofit all these fans, well, this is what we do to reduce. When they sell you an air glass from now on, they're going to sell you a TrollMaster fan with it, with a dimmer, and
Smart.
it'll be operable through the head unit.
And those dimmers are sexy. I saw those dimmers at MJ Biz. I was like, this is a nice dimmer.
We wouldn't be doing that. We'd be going like this.
Yep,
If you
exactly.
want to just dim this one, or we can dim them all from the Hydrox Pro. Like I said, like the rotisserie chicken guy, set it and forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. How difficult on a facility this size is it to get on cycle? This didn't happen with a lot of love.
No, definitely a lot of love, a lot of dedication, especially when you start here and you bring 63 strains right off the bat, and then they tell you, hey, let's just run these. I go, no, I want to run them all because I want to figure out what works and what doesn't from the beginning. So that's a double-edged sword because you find a lot of stuff that is going to work and some of the stuff that didn't work too good. But guess what? In the second time around, we found some winners that before we might have thrown away. It's like, so now with the adjustability, with the combination between TrollMaster and Think, we'll be able to dim everything on the fly from the head unit, and you can group lights.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. A lot of those, whether I don't give a shit what other company is, they don't have that ability to be able to group lights. So you're going to have to run this room with cultivars that run alike, or you're going to have losers all the time. So we were able to adjust on the fly, and now we're like I said, this is what it's going to look like from now on.
You will not be able to find, I believe, a better controller for a better price that does and has all the offerings that Think, Grow, and TrollMaster do.
I agree.
Period.
I agree. I've been waiting for a while. They keep telling me about them, but I don't see them.
No.
Cool. Yeah. Magic key.
Obscene amount of cannabis lined up. This is very efficient spacing. I really like it.
Yeah, but by the end of tomorrow, this whole space should be pretty full, and we'll just wait about 12, 13 days before we start checking the plants, see if they're done.
Okay.
And then we start bucking them down and get ready to send them to the trim room.
Cool. Temperature, humidity that's in this room.
About 60, sometimes 55, 60, depending on the size of the buds.
Yeah.
We'll adjust it a little bit, give it a little bit of leadway.
Very cool. One of the things I really like is that you actually developed the system yourself. The
Yes,
hanging
sir.
racks.
I got together with a company called Maker's Pipe, and they do all kinds of conduit connectors. You kind of can make anything with this stuff. It's pretty cool. The guy's name is Dave over there, and he was able to make a couple extra parts to make these carts. I call them mango carts. The way this works is you get the rack, you stick it in here, you wheel it to the room that you're harvesting. You hang the plants on here. You hit 25 plants per side. You're rolling them to this space. And by metric rules, you can hang 50 plants because now you can group them. You hang them into that scale up there and you weigh it all at once. Time-consuming task just became a lot easier. And it's actually better for the plants because you only touch the plants once.
Yes, less
One
damage,
touch.
less banging around trichomes.
Moving around, and there's a lot of people that will go harvest on these totes. They'll throw the weed in the tote, and then they'll throw more weed on top of that one, and it kind of squishes your plants. And then you have, residue from the last harvest and stuff like that. So
Yep, makes total sense.
This room is DPS paneled out. We protect it all the time. After every harvest, this room gets cleaned out, douched. We run some garden clean in here to make sure that if there's any spores from the last harvest or whatever, that we start clean.
Any difference in curing, drying between the top rack, bottom rack?
The fans are actually pointing up, so we draft the air through the plants. Remember, you want to drag air through the plants instead of blow air through the plants. The top plants kind of dry a little bit faster than the bottom plants. So we're going to make some adjustments to this room to be able to get the convection effect a little bit more even, so all the plants dry at a more even rate.
Very cool. Let's go check out the final product. This is,
Let's go check it out.
let's go.
Let's go.
Amazing. All the hard work, cuttings, seedlings. Now we're finally, months later, in the trim room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the trim room at the facility. We hand trim probably 80% of our product. A's, B's, we hand trim. If it's going to a bag or into a jar, it gets hand trimmed. Smalls or micros get trimmed through a machine. It's just not cost effective to do that. Most micros go to pre-rolls anyway, and smalls, the market doesn't really pay to hand trim it. So we'll use machines for that. As you can see to my left over here, we have the Green Bros, and the original resonator is on that side. We can also trim with that too. And we also use that machine to extract the keef from the trim, from the hand trim that they have. And we use that keef to infuse pre-rolls. I believe that they're trimming flamingo runts right now, bees by hand. So then we would, if we made pre-rolls of flamingo runts, then we would infuse them with flamingo runts keef out of that. So it doesn't mix the profile.
Cross-contaminate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it smells amazing in here.
Well, let's check it out.
Let's have a look.
Check it out. Yeah.
That is really nice color.
This is what they consider as candy gas.
Yeah.
Very hot in the market right now. Like I said, these are bees.
Yeah.
You know, these are bee buds that they're trimming right now. And like I said, even the bee buds get hand trimmed if it's going through a bag.
I mean, that's a beautiful looking. I mean, really crystal covered, dense, very uniform. I mean, that's a runts. That's a good depiction of what runts look like. Amazing.
And this is a bag seed, obviously, from a run, so that's why we gave it our own spin on it, which is flamingo runs.
Okay. Well, we've officially been mango-fied.
Mango-fied, yeah, you pretty much went through everything. I think the only thing that you haven't been through is through the laundry room.
Well, let's go check out the laundry room.
Let's go check out the laundry room.
I love the fact you called it a laundry room.
Definitely not gonna call it the vault.
Yeah. Much cooler in here.
It depends on the time of the season or the week that you come in here. Sometimes you come in here and this thing's empty. Sometimes you come here and this is full. Right now we have a lot of trim.
Yeah.
Which means they're towards the end of the cycle.
Well, you're growing 60 plus different genetics here.
Yeah, I think we're up to close to 80, they told me yesterday. So it's
that's a lot of work. And then
yes.
you'll actually keep track of every single one of those.
Yeah, but we're going to start narrowing it down. We started with about 63. We're growing to about 80, 85. And we're going to start narrowing it down with what we're going to really, hone and kind of focus on. And obviously it's cold in here.
I mean, I always say, listen, pheno, pheno, pheno.
Yeah. Incredible.
That's it.
What backseed though comes, what backseed does sometimes.
Yeah, genetics are everything. Start with good genetics. And that's why you're halfway there.
Well, we have so many genetics here, because somebody gives me a clone strain, you got to try it.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to try it. What are you going to say, no?
Yeah.
That could have been the one that you said no to.
Listen,
that could have been the one.
I often say I still haven't smoked the best weed of my life.
That's a true statement.
So Alex, this is a really big deal. Not many people get to actually see a garden and a cannabis facility like this. And I just wanted to extend my gratitude to you opening the doors to us and showing such incredible cannabis. Thank you so much. As we conclude our journey through Miami Mango's cultivation paradise, it's clear that innovation often comes with its fair share of challenges. Being at the forefront means facing constant criticism and encountering ever-changing obstacles along the way. It's all part of the journey. While he may already have a few arrows in his back from naysayers and detractors, true leaders like him will forge ahead with unwavering determination. It's the pioneers who shape the future, undeterred by challenges they face. So, as Miami Mango charts his course forward, let's join him with the same passion, innovation, and relentless pursuit of growing a plant that changes lives for the positive. Until next time, this grow has been exposed.